Hey guys, in this video I'm going to walk you through the steps on how to create an invoice in your PayPal business account. It's actually a pretty straightforward process, and PayPal, they lay things out so it's pretty easy to understand. I'll link this article down in the description as well as a link over to the invoice page. So essentially what we can do here is create and send invoices, and it's going to be completely free inside of our PayPal business account. We just have to go over to the invoice tool in our PayPal account. And then over there, we're going to be able to customize that invoice and either send it right away, or you can also save it as a draft and then come back to it later. So going over to the invoice, and right at the top where it says create invoice, you can actually preview what this invoice is going to look like before you send it. And you're going to be able to send this invoice either via PayPal, or you can create a link and then email it yourself to the individual or the business that you're looking to send that invoice to. You can also work on this and then save it as a draft and come back to it later. And when you come back to it later, you can just go to the Manage tab and click where it says Manage Invoices. You should be able to find it over there. And here towards the top, you have your templates, and you're often just going to be using the default template, but you can create a custom one, and you can create a new template down here, and then you can also manage your templates as well. But it's not a bad idea just to get started here with the default template. And below that, there's an option if you want, you can add in a company logo to try to make your invoice look a little bit more professional. And so the person or the business that you're sending to knows who it's coming from based on the logo that you can input here. And then you can set up this invoice to be just a one-time thing, or you can have it be recurring to every week, every month, every year, every quarter, or set up a custom frequency. And for the invoice number, you can enter in whatever you want here. It's just a way for you to keep track of the invoices that you've sent out. But it's not a bad idea to just go with the standard numbers that are entered in here. So in my PayPal business account, it says 002. This just means this would be the second invoice that I've ever sent. So up to this point in time, I've only ever sent out one invoice. This would be the second, so it automatically put in that number right here. And then you can enter in a date for the invoice, whether it's today's date or some future date. And you can put in a reference number here, such as a PO number. And you can also enter in a due date for this, whether it's due on receipt. You also have the option to do no due date in the drop-down menu. You can specify a specific date that it's due by, or an incremental amount of time that, again, you can pick through when you go through this drop-down menu. And then over here below your company logo, you can enter in your business information, and you have the option to edit your business information by clicking this little edit button. So now we're going to scroll down and take a look at the next section of this invoice. Here we have the type, which is going to be what this invoice is created for, whether it's shippable goods, pickup or drop-off goods, digital goods, or a service. And then here we have bill to, and this is just going to be adding a customer, their email or name, who this is going to be sent to. And you can also bill multiple customers by clicking this little plus sign over here. And if you want, you can open up your contacts book by clicking this little icon right here. And there's also a CC down here if you want this invoice to be sent to additional emails other than just what we're going to be entering here into the bill to area. And then as we work our way down here, we have some customize options. So right now we have quantity entered in right here. You can actually change this if you wanted to something like hours and then your rate that you would get per hour, or just an amount only. And then you have the option to add or remove detail. So when we open this up right now, things that are included in our invoice are going to be things like tax, a detailed description. If you want, you could put in an item discount. You could put in a date. In the subtotal, it has invoice discount checked as well as shipping. And if you wanted to, you could also include a custom amount. So you have some different options there to either add or remove things from the invoice that we're filling out here. So for the description, you can enter in the name of the item that's being purchased in this instance, and you can enter in a detailed description of this item. This is obviously going to be optional. You can enter in the price right here, and then the amount of tax you can add in, and then this will all calculate to give you an amount. You can also add additional rows if you have other items that you're going to be putting into this invoice. And then down here in the subtotal, it's just going to add all of this together to give you a subtotal. And then if you want, you could add a discount by percentage or by dollar amount. And you can enter in a shipping amount here that would be added on to the end here to get that total. And I also didn't mention this before, but in the customize area, you can change the currency. Right now I have it on US dollars, but there's other options here that I can switch the currency to. And then we're getting towards the bottom here, so you can check this box to allow just a partial payment if that's something you're interested in. And you can check this box if you want to give the customer an option to add a tip. And just a few more things here at the bottom, it's note to recipient. So you can write a specific note such as thanks for your business or other things that you might want to tell your customer. You can also copy and paste things like your terms and conditions in this area as well. And if your customer is interested in getting some specific files, you can attach those files right here. by clicking this option and then bringing those over from files that are on your computer. And then if you want down here, you can add a memo to yourself, but this is going to be optional. And then once you have everything filled out in your invoice exactly how you want it to look, then right here at the bottom, you can preview how this invoice is going to look. And if everything checks out and looks good to you, then you can send this invoice either via PayPal, or you can produce a link and then you can share that link yourself through something like an email, for instance. Or if you want, you can just save this as a draft, come back to it later, maybe have somebody else take a look at it, especially if it's the first time you're filling out an invoice. Maybe you're going to want somebody else to take a look at it who has filled out invoices before, just to make sure everything is looking good. And you also have the option down here to save this as a template if when you worked your way through this, you change some things around so that next time you can pick that new template that you have just created. So I hope this video was helpful. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Consider subscribing, and I'll catch you back here next time.